about to go down.
Burning your ears with another all-killer and no-filler episode of the best motorsports radio on the planet. It's the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. With your host, Jim Beaver.
Sliding trophy trucks, jumping razors, and dropping the mic at events across the country.
Amy Hood.
What's up, guys? I'm a professional fun haver, dirt bike rider, and monster truck driver.
With support from Polaris Razor, General Tire, Subaru, and Dirtfish. Hang on tight, strap in, and get ready to smoke some tires and lay some roost. Here's the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other. Jim Beaver.
Good morning and welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, trying to get this Facebook live stream going on, audio stream. And I don't know what the heck happened, but it crashed right away. But now we're up running. So thank you guys for tuning in live. Thank you for tuning in on Facebook. Thank you for tuning in on networks across the country, the American Forces Network, iTunes, and I don't know, like I pulled it. We're like on 700 plus places now, Hood. Kind of crazy, right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So we're all over. We're Zaiden radio stations galore.
Yeah. Internet, radio, everywhere else, I don't know. You know what? I figure at least 700 people are listening to us. If one person in every place listens to us, I guess we've at least got 700 people listening. So I don't know. I know it's astronomically higher than that, but we'll just say we got 700 listeners. So thank you, 700 people, for tuning in. Yeah. So, thank you guys. We got a fun show lined up today. We've got some good friends of Amy and mine, Jim Riley from General Tire, Team General Tire driver. He's racing this weekend. We got Jim, formerly Azuña Tequila, now Baja United. He's in the wine and beer business now. So we got a lot to talk about with Jim. We got my good friend Jerry Zaiden calling in. We got Cottew taking a podium there in snowcross over the weekend with the kickoff there. Amy and I will talk about that. We've got Josh Weesey from the Sponsored Rider Club podcast. He celebrated episode 50, and Amy and I have both been on that show, so I decided, hey, we'll let Josh come on and chat a bit. But, lots coming at you today on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. We'll be back after this break. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. As certain as the sun rises and sets around the world, OTSFF Group is dedicated to providing flexible, comprehensive, and reliable transportation solutions. Air transportation, ocean freight, ground transportation, or a combination of services. We offer innovative and custom-built packages specifically designed to meet your transportation needs. OTSFF Group has been keeping shipments moving globally for nearly 2 decades. OTSFF Group, flexible logistics services designed for you. More information at OTSFF.com.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, kicking things off. Thanks to you for all tuning in and continue to support Amy and I as we continue to do radio each and every week. But, man, it's kind of we're in that weird season, Amy. We obviously Snowcross kicked off, but, you know, I think we got one major off-road race left, I guess 2 if you count the Snore battle at Laughlin. But I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like, there's just not a lot of motorsports happening, but we're in that silly season. I know, you know, obviously Supercross, we're starting to kind of get an idea of how things are going to be in January. You know, same with off-road and, you know, just about every kind of motorsport. We're kind of shutdown mode, right, for the month of December. So it's just like news and rumors floating around. You know, I don't know. You heard any good news from anything kind of floating around right now?
No, I haven't really heard anything. But yeah, you're right. Like, this is kind of that transition point between, you know, a lot of outdoor stuff and then now our winter season, which is kind of, I like to call it the indoor season. So you got Arena Cross and Supercross, Monster Jam, obviously Snowcross and X Games and all that stuff gets, you know, back in action as well. But no, I think we're kind of shaping up for a pretty quiet run into Supercross. I mean, we kind of had a little preview. We talked about it before for the Paris Supercross, you know, dominant Marvin. I just think that, no, it's kind of going to be a waiting game for A1. I think, obviously, Marvin's going to be setting the pace. I'm pretty sure I can bet all my money and Christmas presents on that one. But, no, I mean, it's going to be an exciting Supercross season because it's, you know, there's going to be major transitions. I mean, Dungey's out of the game, and a lot of people are switching teams. A lot of people are jumping on different rides this year. It's going to shake up the field for sure.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to shake up the field in Supercross. And like you said, it's so weird. Like, there's just, like, not a lot of news with anything. I mean, and I know even in the off-road world, like Baja, you know, it was so big this year, the point-to-point 50th anniversary. Like, the entries are very kind of low for the Best in the Desert finale because Baja from 2 weeks ago, everybody's stuff is just thrashed. But it's so weird. Like, the big news that's literally floating around. Like, I subscribe to all these newsletters that cover all kinds of motorsport, not just off-road, but everything. Like, literally, like, the only big news happening right now is Danica Patrick and the Indy 500. Past that, like, there's nothing. You know, it's kind of crazy.
I know it's like they're keeping everything like behind closed doors, and like they usually come out with some big major press release on, you know, a big movement in teams and you know, cutbacks or new riders or something or another. And no, this year has been a pretty quiet transition, that's for sure. So maybe that means that something is really going to be coming out of the woodwork. Maybe, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, me neither. It's I don't know. It's like when it rains, it pours, right? I don't know. PRI show's 2 weeks away. Maybe we'll get some news from motorsport there. Obviously, I'm sure Supercross and stuff like that will start cranking here shortly. But I really don't know what to expect. It's just weird. Normally by now we've got all kinds of news cranking out, and we've got tons to talk about, but we don't have a lot. I mean, we've got some snowcross, that kicked off, and that's kind of an interesting sport in itself. I mean, obviously snowmobile racing, is huge, but like snowbike has kind of stolen a little bit of the thunder away from snowcross, I feel like. Obviously snowcross out of X Games are keeping snowbike, but, snowbike is still new. Like there's not a major series for that. But snowcross, I mean, we're back to our old habits. I mean, you got Tucker who just goes and starts winning again. So first 2 rounds of the year go to Tucker Hibbert. Cody Cam had a solid showing. He's second in points. But I mean, what do you take on the snowmobile stuff? I mean, Tucker is back. Last year we talked about all year who's going to have it for Tucker, and I don't know, man. Tucker back to the old habits again, I guess, right?
I know that's crazy. I mean, we always we did talk about it last year that thinking Cody Cam would be the one to pressure Tucker, and I always kind of wonder when he's going to retire. No offense at all. He's not old or nothing, but he's definitely the most seasoned athlete in the game, and he's been doing it forever. But it's so incredible when, he can just come every year and be so dominant. Like, he's like the Dundee of the snowcross world. No one has anything for him. He's on a completely different level than anybody. But also, I mean, he's got a family, he's got kids, like he's older, like he's not this hungry 20-something-year-old kid like, Cody Cam and the Cole Cottews of the world. Like, this guy has already kind of been there, done that, and he can still go out and throw down, but he has nothing to prove. So he's really just running on sheer talent and ability alone,
Yeah, and that's, like you said, I keep waiting for that announcement, right? Like, Levi retired, and, I don't want to say he was at the top of his game, but he was just kind of over it, right? And now he's team owner. He's still got a presence. He still does freestyle. Ryan Dungey, he's another guy, right? He's at the top of the game, retired. Like, you wonder if Hibbert's ever going to bow out and just keep running a snowcross team, or, like, I don't know. And like you say, he's riding at an elite level. Like, this dude's got, at least 5 more years in him. I mean, he can continue to dominate, but it's just, do you think Tucker ever gets burnt out at some point?
I mean, you would never know based on his results, but I mean, he always shakes it up as well. Like, Tucker jumps from a dirt bike, goes plays around at the local Minnesota races all summer, goes and lines up at Millville every now and then, pro national. Like, I think he keeps it interesting, and it's, if you can be so dominant at that age, like, why get out? Like, that's why we've seen Tony Caroli winning at championship after championship over in Europe, and everybody wondered why he didn't come over to the U.S. and, battle it up against the U.S. boys. Well, why? He's winning, making a ton of money, no pressure. Like, it's the easiest season for him. Like, he has a smooth sailing all the way to the finish line, and I think that's what we see with Tucker. And, I mean, he's probably having a lot of fun because he's just slaying it. You know what I mean? So why get out that early? I think once you start to see pressure, maybe you start to see, him kind of, finishing second, third, and even fourth, then I think that's when he's probably going to get in his mind that, to start making that transition. But right now he's so dominant, no one can touch him. He's just cruising. He's on cruise control, that guy.
Yeah, well, and here's a question for you, because training for auto racing is a bit different than something with handlebars. I mean, we still train, but it's a different type of training. You hear Ricky Carmichael, you hear Ryan Dungey, you hear Levi LaValle, and all of them have said, I just didn't want to train that hard anymore because you lose it being fun when you have to do 100 laps on the practice track a day and train in the gym for that extended amount of hours. Like, you've trained that hard. You know what it takes. I mean, is there a point where you just wave the white flag and go, you know what, like, I just want to enjoy life. I still want to have fun behind the handlebars, but I don't want to train at that level anymore.
Oh, absolutely. And age plays a factor in that as well because, I feel like the two-wheel sport, or I guess let's say the handlebar world, everybody gets younger and you're getting older and we're competing against these 16, 18, 20-year-old kids who have nothing but stamina and, they're fresh in the game and they're hungry and they're eager to put in the hours and hours in the gym and the training, and it just gets hard to compete against that when you do it for so long. And like you said, it stops being fun because training becomes a whole other job. So never mind, are you just, racing and, doing your jobs on the weekends, but, every day, all week, the training is like having a whole second job. But I mean, that's the professional athlete life that comes with it. That is a lifestyle. It is a 24-hour job. But when do you hang up the towel? Like, these athletes are having kids. I mean, having kids is a full-time job, running around and chasing after them. Like, it's nice to take a break and do something different rather than going to train on the week, like train during the week, to go to the beach with your family, to enjoy your family dinners and hanging out and riding Polaris Razors around the yard instead of, 4-hour road bike adventures. Like, it just comes a point where you just want to do something different. And, for someone like Ryan Dungey at his age, 25, 26, throwing in the towel, I mean, he's at that point in his life where, he's going to miss out on maybe his young youth and being able to do things with him and his wife at that age where, living a little bit of normality.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. We got to take a short break. We come back. We got Josh Weesey, sponsored Ryder Club podcast. He's going to be on. Then we got Jim Riley. We've got Cole Cottew, Jerry Zaiden, a whole lot more coming at you today on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
Want the latest from Jim Beaver and Amy Hood? Follow at Jim Beaver 15 and at Amy Hood 71 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here with a good friend of mine, somebody making their debut on the show, but somebody that's got a podcast that I've appeared on a few times. But Josh Weesey with Sponsored Rider Club podcast and Impact Fuel. How's everything going, Josh?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, we're flipping things up here a bit. I know I've been on your show twice now, but this is your first time on mine, so welcome to the show, man. And you guys over there on Sponsored Rider Club, first off, just hit episode number 50, man. That's a milestone. Mm-hmm. People don't understand how many podcasts come and go and never actually make it to episode 50. So you got to be pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I mean, honestly, before this, I had done absolutely nothing with podcasting, and I had no idea the amount of work that went into it and the amount of prep time, and I'm surprised I've survived 50 episodes, but it's been super energizing. There's so many amazing people out there that have shared their experiences, shared their knowledge, and I don't know how I could stop, right? I don't even think that was an option for me to stop.
Yeah, well, and that's it. Like, once you get into a groove of things, and, and I know you and I have talked kind of since the beginning, but, you just start clicking off episodes after episode, and then you get in the groove of things, and it becomes like an addiction, right? And you just keep going, and it's like, oh, you start reaching out, and you talk to new people, and you get to learn so many different things about so many people, and it's like you keep wanting to get that fix. It's almost like a drug almost.
It is, yeah. And, I mean, once you start getting value from folks, I don't know. You said it very good. It's an addiction.
Yeah. Well, and tell us a little bit about Sponsored Rider Club, because, I mean, people are familiar with my shows and we talk a little bit about motorsports and marketing, but a lot of it's just driver interviews, talking current events and things like that. And you do a bit of that on your show, but yours is completely different. Yours is more geared towards sponsorship and marketing, which I think is really unique, because there's a lot of business podcasts out there that are that are marketing driven, but yours is the only one that I know that's, power sports, motorsports, and I guess, it could definitely include action sports in that driven, but, kind of tell us a little bit about your podcast.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. It's the business side of racing. It's the business side of motorsports. The reason this whole thing even came about was with my other business, Impact Fuel, I was getting a lot of people reaching out to me with sponsorship requests. And honestly, I was not the right company to even be reached out to. That was not what I was in it for. And I got those contacts a lot, and guess what? They just weren't that great. And after I started talking to some of these people, they kept asking me, like, man, I wish I just had some additional knowledge or advice or help, or I wish I had a guide to walk me through this whole sponsorship deal. I was like, man, there's people out there that do this. Like, there are riders and racers all over the planet that have this thing figured out. I was like, we just need to get the information from them into your head. So that's how this whole thing came about. I mean, the intent and the mission is to help guide people through motorsport sponsorship, but that's it.
Yeah, well, and, you're 50 episodes in now. I mean, you've actually had a lot of guests on your show that people that listen to my show are familiar with. There's a lot of crossover, and you do a different type of interview. But, I mean, what are some of the guests that stick out in your mind? I know one of my favorite episodes you've done, I haven't listened to every episode of yours, but I've listened to a lot of them, but the one with my friend Joey D from UTV Underground, that one was definitely solid. But, I mean, what are some of the episodes that kind of stick out in your mind right now that you're really stoked on that you think it really were ones that kind of blew you away?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you look at the way the episodes are broken down, I interview racers, content creators, and companies. And each one of them, I think, has a few people that stand out. So one of them that I got a ton of positive feedback on is the one you said, Joey D, from the content creator standpoint. He was phenomenal. Outside of that, Matt Martelli of Mad Media, he was on episode 31. He absolutely crushed it. And from a photography standpoint, Stephen Marlinet was on the episode 27, and he gave very good details about how to set up like a fantastic Instagram photo shoot, the whole 9 yards there. So from the content creators, those stood out definitely. From companies that I've interviewed, MBRP was on. They were on episode 26. That was great. Top the Podium was actually on episode 2, and FCR Suspension was just featured recently. So really good standout episodes there. And then from racers, I mean, it was just there's tons of phenomenal riders and racers out there. Sarah Price, though, stands out. Episode 12. Amy Hood was on 7. My buddy Travis Pastrana was on episode 37 with a whole slew of other folks. Travis Pointer, actually, he's kind of topped as one of the number one downloaded episodes. He was just on 43. We've had NASCAR racer Amber Balkin on, Caleb Blood from Monster Jam, Zach Mason from Snowcross Team of Valley, just a whole bunch of different perspectives on motorsport sponsorship.
Yeah, and that's what I think is cool. You know, like you said, you've got content creators, you've got brands, you've got you've got athletes, and every athlete, every discipline, everybody has their own unique way that differentiates them from anyone else, and how they're able to go out and sign these deals. And I think that's what's really cool about listening to your show. Is I've got my way that I do things, and it works for me, but once in a while I can hear something that somebody else does, and I can take something away from that, and I can use that to help my program and what I do and the way I market. And that's one thing I've really loved about your show is that, it's there's so many different ways to do this, and I get to learn so many different ways from so many different amazing athletes and brands.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I try to pull in a mixture of different riders and racers from different platforms. I mean, a backcountry snowmobile rider can teach an off-road racer something, and an off-road racer can teach, a Monster Jam driver something. A Monster Jam driver can teach a jet ski racer something. There's no real recipe, at least not one that I've been able to dictate or write down yet, but there's tons of good examples and good stories out there, and I think it's good to hear those stories and hear the way that others have done it and figure out what works for you.
Yeah, well, and and that being said, I mean, marketing a podcast is something a little bit different. I know, obviously I've been doing this for, I guess, approaching 6 years now. But I mean, how, what have you learned? We get a lot of people tune in, and they go, "Hey, man, I want to start my own podcast." I mean, you're a year now into this. I mean, what have you learned? What have you taken away on how to start a podcast from scratch and grow this thing to where you're at?
One of the best things that I've learned is that all of the information is pretty readily available. There's a ton of good training programs out there, good guides that are available. There's a podcast on how to start podcasts. There's tons of information out there. And just by taking, a period of time, setting that aside and studying and researching, you can get something put together relatively quickly. Now that, I think honestly, of just getting all the technical understanding under, completely locked in, that's hard enough as is, but you can get there. The next thing is finding the right audience. For me, and what I did was I tried to solve a problem. And I think that's really where a podcast starts at is some people will actively voice their issues. If you just listen and you can capture it and you can solve their problem through a podcast, I think that's phenomenal, because there is a potential that you could go through and learn how to produce a master podcast and have beautiful content, and there's nobody out there that actually wants to hear it. So that was honestly where the whole thing started, was with the problem that I heard people having, and I was just trying to create a solution for them.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely it. There's a lot of people want to go out and and do so many different things, and with their podcasts or with their YouTube channels or social media. And I think it's finding that niche and scratching the itch. And I think you've definitely done a tremendous job on it. Before we let you go, where can people find out more information on you, on the Sponsored Rider Cup podcast, and on Impact Fuel?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. SponsoredRiderClubPodcast.com is the first place you can find all the episodes. If you're just hanging out on social media, you can check out Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Sponsored Rider Club Podcast. On all of those, the Twitter handle specifically is SRC Podcast, and it's available on iTunes, Google Play Music, and iHeartRadio. And then Impact Fuel, similar story, impactfuel.org, and all of the social media sites are labeled as Impact Fuel.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Josh. I appreciate you taking the time to phone in, and we'll definitely talk soon, my friend.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Awesome catching up with my good friend Josh Weesey, Sponsored Rider Club Podcast. I was on his episode number 50. his first ever two-time guest. So always fun catching up with him. And like I said, he gets a lot of same guests we have here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, but just a different field of things over there, talking more marketing and advertising and things like that. But, man, we couldn't do it without our advertisers, and one of those is our good friends at GenuinePolarisParts.com. Hunting season is upon us, and there's no better way to get your Polaris off-road vehicle ready than when GenuinePolarisParts.com. You're looking for gun boots, mounts, camo enclosures, or even a dog kennel for your hunting companion, GenuinePolarisParts.com has it all and makes it easy to use with their easy-to-use categorized parts and accessories online ordering form. Don't forget about the oil change kits, which are readily in stock and delivered right to your doorstep. Of course, if you're looking for genuine Polaris parts, go to GenuinePolarisParts.com. The assurance and dependability is in the name. They make it easy and stress-free by having it all there in diagrams with the year, make, and model of your unit. You'll narrow down your search, see a list of diagrams, and visually see the parts that need replacing, and it eliminates the headache of second-guessing your part or trying to explain what part you need over the counter at the dealership. Go to GenuinePolarisParts.com/JimBeaver, and you'll be able to redeem a special offer exclusive to listeners of this show. Again, it's GenuinePolarisParts.com/JimBeaver. Get your Polaris parts delivered directly to your door using GenuinePolarisParts.com. And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound. The sound of sports. The sound at the racetrack. And the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, joined by our good friend and General Tire driver, Jim Riley. How's everything going, my friend?
Hey, good. What's
Hey!
Hey, Amy.
How's it going, Jim?
Real good. Been having a good time watching all your exploits around the world.
Oh, well, thank you. Always got to keep things interesting, just like you.
Yeah, love it. Love it, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, you are definitely keeping things interesting, Jim. I mean, you're the guy we all knew as, Azuñia Jim, right? And you kind of hung up that hat, and now you are Baja United Jim. And I got to say, I am actually a small owner of that company, so I'm kind of proud about that. But tell us about Baja United, Mr. Jim Riley.
Looks like Amy got left out in the cold.
Yeah. No, you didn't hear about that? I swear I told you, Amy. So he's got Baja United, and they put it out there where you could buy shares of the company. They had a round of investing.
Well, it's still open because, I mean, I like to get a little bit in there, and I think, with the American dollar and everything, it's a good investment for me.
Yeah, unfortunately, Amy, the best you can do now is just buy a little bit of wine from us, enjoy a nice evening around a fireplace with some wine from Baja.
Oh, that sounds just as good, actually, because I'm kind of turning into a little bit of a wino. So, yeah.
Yeah, Jim's got you covered there because I've had some of this wine from Baja United. It's pretty good stuff, I got to say. But, tell us a little bit about Baja United, then we'll talk some racing, Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, seriously, appreciate you getting involved, Jim. And, as you said, a lot of people know me as Azuñia Jim from Tequila and all the racing we did under that name. And I did hang up that hat, and I started Baja United to bring wines up from Baja. We're also going to be bringing up a Baja United craft beer. And the cool thing is while I was at the tequila company, everybody wanted to invest and get involved because they love Mexico, and there just wasn't that opportunity. So when I launched this company, I thought, we're going to open it up to the public to have investors if they want to get a piece of the pie and enjoy kind of some of the things that we've been doing over the years. And we had a very successful crowd fund. We raised over $225,000. We've got 111 investors that mainly are from our community that just love Baja. And, the real caveat to the whole deal is that a percentage of all of our sales go back to an orphanage charity organization called Corazon de Vida. And basically what they do is they focus on 10 orphanages and donate back to the kids down there in Baja. So not only are we enjoying wine and beer and that whole process, but we're also giving back. So we're stoked. The business is taking off. Yeah, people are really enjoying what we're doing.
Yeah, definitely good
That's
stuff.
a great thing, though, to have a business with a purpose. I mean, not only are you, giving single housewives, their wine from Baja, which is a great purpose, but you're getting back to the community. But then you feel good purchasing, and you feel good being, going to, maybe out of your way to purchase wine from you rather than to go to the store because you're purchasing with a purchase. And I love stuff like that, and I think that's where you really get longevity too. And that's really cool. I love that concept. It's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you noticing. I don't know if you looked that up real fast, but that is our tagline, business with a purpose. And we wanted to be very clear about, a lot of companies, when they become successful, they start donating back. And we just wanted to say right up front, hey, we're going to give back to this cause that we've been so passionate about. So we're happy to be doing that. We'll be raising that flag next year on the race car a little bit more prominently and continuing our story into the future of Baja United and what we're doing down there.
Yeah, definitely excited about Baja United. I think, too, one of the things, we talked about you giving back, but I think one of the big things, and we'll talk racing here in a sec, but I like it because there's some amazing, craft beers and wines in Baja that don't actually have distribution in the United States. So not only are you giving back, but you're actually helping those companies and Baja businesses actually grow via this company.
Yeah, what's really neat is people aren't really familiar with Baja wines in terms of the quality and the caliber of the wineries down there, and that's what I was most impressed with. When you go down there and you look at the infrastructure of what they're building, these are $10, $20 million facilities. This isn't mom and pop in their backyard making some wine in Baja. They've got some serious cash behind this, and they're looking at the future. And you already start to hear the rumblings that this is the next Napa. They have surpassed what's happening in Temecula and some of the other smaller wine areas. and really have created a massive opportunity. But they did not have major distribution in the United States, and that's one of the things that we were able to bring to them through our business, is bring them distributors like Young's Market Company and some top customers that will start growing the brand.
Well, you there, Jim? I think we lost you, buddy.
We surpassed their previous sales with all their distribution in the past up here in the U.S., so really excited about what's happening with them and how the consumers have been gravitating towards the products.
Yeah. Well, I know, Baja United, we could talk about, you and I like to have a good time, and we could definitely talk about that business. But we got to talk some Best in the Desert, the finale coming up, Pahrump. Obviously, you're one of the guys that was there at the start of the 6100 class. I mean, talk about this upcoming race. One of my favorite tracks. I'm not actually racing, but it's cool that Best in the Desert is back there in Pahrump because it's an interesting 250-mile course.
Vehicles, which is crazy. There's more spec trophy trucks now than there is trophy trucks, which is kind of mind-blowing to think about. But, it's an exciting class. It's challenging. It's close racing every time. I know you've got your regular Sarah Price that goes in there. She's been out there in the class racing around, and people are having a great time, but it's extremely competitive. One small issue during the day will cause you a podium, if not the top 10, just because whether you got a flat or you threw a belt or something silly, that will cost you the podium every single time in this class.
Yeah, well, and I know talking with Jerry and obviously with you, I'd say the two fastest classes that are growing numbers-wise in desert racing, it's not trophy truck anymore. It's 6100 and UTV. I mean, those two, it's just crazy. I mean, every single race there's new entries, and I like to, have a pretty good pulse on drivers that are coming into the sport. But 6100, man, I'm having a hard time keeping track.
Well, it's crazy when you look at the entry list and you see these names like, I don't even know who these guys are anymore. But you know what? I don't care who they are. Those guys can come out there and race, and they're doing a damn good job. When you look at the top 10, half the guys you know, the other half the guys you don't know, but they've made a name for themselves in the last year through their racing. I think to your point, Jim, these two growing classes, I think the key issue is accessibility. People can come out and these classes are accessible. It's not going to break the bank to get into some of the UTVs you're seeing out there, as well as the 6100 class, compared to the trophy trucks and the Class 1s. I think that's what's making them grow so fast and what's making them exciting.
Yeah, well, and I agree with you there. And I think there's something to be said, too, about, spec sealed engines. I'm both in UTV and in 6100, because, costs get out of control in racing easily, but at least we know we don't have to spend $50,000 on a race engine, and I think that is definitely one of the selling points to both those classes.
Yeah, and I think that's what keeps us in the game all year. But you know what? I was just funny because we're at the end of the year. You mentioned that we're chasing the final points and everything, and this is when things get really tight on budgets and you start shuffling around. Like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get to the last race? Those are all the things that people don't think about or know about when they're watching the excitement out on the track. How hard it is to get there.
Yeah, and that's definitely it, and yeah, you got the Best in the Desert finale and turn around, I think, a week later, and you've got the Snore race that's like 400 entries deep. I know you've run that event in Laughlin a few times, man. It's like you said, it's the end of the year, and it's like you're trying to shuffle for budget. It's like, how are we going to afford this, man? It's like, I feel you, Jim. I know.
That's why I love dirt bikes, you guys. You can just throw your stuff in the Danger Ranger and head out all season, and really you're just paying the cost of gas and, maybe a little bit of, a couple oil changes here or there instead of rear tires. But, I couldn't even imagine coming from the two-wheel side of the world where, that's cheap. It's very, very easy to do a full season on, a bartender budget. So, it's incredible what you guys, go through and like the behind the scenes and what people don't know about the penny pushing to kind of get, to the end of this season for you guys.
Yeah, well,
and we all have that addiction too that we want to just keep getting out there. When I got on the phone with you, I got a message from Nick over at McKinsey's. He's like, "Hey, are you coming out to the race? I want to make sure you're taken care of." I'm like, dude, it's not even close to being in the budget to come out to race at the river right now. And we've gone out there and done really well. We've won with my 6100 truck. We've won trophy truck class that was 4 years ago. And then we took a first and then a third the 2 years after that. So it's a great race for us. But, man, it's just too much on the schedule.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's definitely, especially with the holidays, and you've got a wife and a couple of amazing kids, and things get kind of crunch time right around now. But let's talk a bit about 2018, because I know I've heard rumors you guys are changing things up a bit. I mean, what are the plans for 2018? I mean, is there anything out there that we can talk about yet, or I mean, what's going on, Jim?
Well, let's just say I was real fond of your other guest today, Jerry, over there at Camberg. We've had a lot of conversations lately, and I'll put it this way. I don't know, I didn't hear his segment, but let's just say that we have been talking about putting a program together for next year. I think he's got a great truck out in the class. Took a little time off, but that kinetic truck that he had, the 6100 truck, is a great truck. If you look at what Alex Gonzalez just did in it down at the 1000, he pulled a podium off down there. I have the oldest spec trophy truck out there, and I'm excited that we're 6th overall. We've managed to compete all these years with that old truck, but I think it's time to step it up a little bit, and we've got some final negotiations to do there. So once that gets under play, the sponsors will shuffle out, and we'll have a full season ahead of us. So we're going to continue to grind away at it.
Yeah, well, and I gotta say, I spent some time. We got to go, and we got a couple minutes left, but we got to talk about Nora, because I know this is one of those events that you absolutely love. Well, I got to spend probably about 15, 20 minutes actually interviewing Sal Fish and then talking off the air with him at the Off-Road Hall of Fame banquet. And I brought up Jim Riley, and I brought up Nora, and Sal Fish had the biggest smile on his face, Jim. Like, I don't want to say you made his year, but I got to say, man, you definitely the fun you guys had, it must have been just nonstop. You there, Jim?
Yeah, sorry. Well, I will tell you that Sal told me at the finish line down in Cabo that I made an old man's dreams come true. I said, Sal, you made all this possible for us, so we're just thrilled that we were able to have you on the team. I'm so glad you brought it up, because I'm sitting here in my office with the Roadkill magazine. It was the fall issue that covered our race down there. Alana came down with us, and she covered Sal. There's some great pictures of Sal Fish. The famous picture of Sal now holding the checkered flag at the finish line. And we'll be back at Nora next year for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. He, like you said, he's the godfather of not only Baja but off-road racing, as far as I'm concerned. And we all have this livelihood because of Sal Fish, and for him to finally get in a vehicle with you, I mean, that was. Dude, I was so pumped when I heard about that. You guys got to able to cross the finish line there in Cabo, man. It doesn't get any better than that. So I think from everybody in the off-road community to you, I think we all tip our cap, because Sal finally got in a race car, man, and it was awesome that you helped make that happen.
Well, it was my pleasure. And if you didn't know, the last time he was in a race car was in 1971, and he had never seen a finish line before.
That's just that's crazy, man. Well, good luck this weekend at Pahrump, buddy. We'll definitely, hopefully you can walk away with a victory, and we can have you on next week to talk about it, man.
Well, we would love nothing more than that. I'm going to be out there with Kurt from DC Shocks and using the Checkers team to pit for us. We got pretty thin this season with guys, so I'm excited to be out there and work with those guys. So DC Shocks and Checkers have come through for us at Pahrump, and we'll let you know how we do, man.
All right, awesome. Well, give Sam my best. Give the girls a hug for me, and we'll definitely talk soon, buddy.
Right, good talking to both you guys. Thanks. Talk to you soon.
Thanks,
all right,
Jim.
see you, Jim.
Bye, Amy.
Bye.
All right, that was Jim Riley with Baja United, 6100 racer. We're going to take a short break. Amy Hood and I, we got lots to talk about when we come back. Want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. Do you race or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500 or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at impactraceproducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZ, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
You've seen their movies.
Man, I'm gonna be late for work again. That's the 5th time I've been late this week. It's only Tuesday, man.
You've probably heard a song or two.
Here's an extra one. Don't give it to your children.
Now, don't miss your chance to see this Grammy Award-winning comic duo, Cheech and Chong, at the Blue Water Resort and Casino.
Who is it?
Dave, man, open up.
Dave? Dave's not here.
Tickets on sale now for Cheech and Chong performing live Saturday, January 27th on the Blue Water Amphitheater stage. Doors.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here. And, lots of fun catching up with Jim Riley. Here we had a little bit of problems with the phone lines during there, things crackling and a bit. But thanks to Jim for calling in, man. Always good catching up with him, talking some Baja United, some racing, some General Tire. And, I don't know. You've helped Jim out in the past, too, with, like, some exercise and, like, supplements and stuff, haven't you, Amy?
Yeah, he did. And it's super cool because it just shows his dedication to what he does. And he was kind of looking to get an edge on the competition because, those long, grueling hours and, out in the desert racing, he wanted to be in the best physical condition that he can because he says eventually, your mind takes over and your body kind of just does the work. And, helped him out, kind of gave him a few things to focus on and, a couple good supplements to take. And it's just cool. He's a cool guy. Every time we talk to him, he's so nice and so down to earth. And it really kind of goes over and beyond to show his character, really caring about the Baja and, trying to expand their business and their culture and kind of merge the two, and again with business with a purpose, but get his business gives back to orphanage. That really is just Jim in a nutshell. Like, he's a good human being and really intelligent guy too. And I wish all the best for him. And I just feel like that business is going to take off and do so much more. Like, just the name alone, like I can see him having a huge race behind that name. Like, it's just really powerful, and I think he's heading in the right direction for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree. We got to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk some snowcross. Then we got Joe Duncan calling in later on to talk some snow bikes. All that and more coming at you. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, kicking off hour number 2. If you're listening in national syndication, if you're listening online, I guess we got a little bit left of hour number 1. But thanks to you guys for tuning in. And, man, I got to say, you know, obviously we talked some snowcross earlier. We're going to talk a little bit more later on in the show when we got Cottew on the line. But Amy and I recently dropped an episode of Project Action, my other podcast that Amy pops on quite frequently, it seems like. I know we've got another one we're working on this week. But we had our good friend Jacqueline Carrizosa, a.k.a. Brojack, on. And I got to tell you, Amy, that was a pretty mind-blowing story, don't you think?
Yeah, and you think you know your friends until you, like, get deep and start talking about their life. But, yeah, I highly suggest everybody go take a listen. Yeah, like, I've known Jackie for a really long time, but I never really knew what pick, I guess you can say. Just kind of hearing her life story and growing up and, you know, the challenges and obstacles she's had to overcome and face and deal with. And now it makes complete sense why she is the tough, badass chick that she is today. And it was really humbling and really makes me appreciate her journey even more because she's been faced with a lot of adversity. But dude, she's so gnarly and she's doing such cool things. And, you know, I'm so pumped that she's my friend, and she's so cool.
Yeah, well, and that's it. Like, people see Brojack, and they think, oh, she's just a good-looking girl who shoots guns and, you know, rides dirt bikes. She's rad. And I'm like, man, when you hear her story, like, to be where she's at, like, she's got some grit. Man, this girl has some grit to overcome the obstacles she has. Like, to me, it's... Like, she's a badass, yeah, but not just because of the things she do. I mean, the things she's overcome makes her a badass. Like, I don't know. My mind was blown. Like you said.
Yeah, just kind of...
You and I have known Jackie for about the same...
Like, I couldn't even say words. Like, what do you say?
Yeah.
What do you even say? Like, I can't relate. Like, I obviously, I've not had anything handed to me in my lifetime, but... Again, I feel like a lot of people who are faced with adversity and how they kind of choose to deal with that really obviously shapes their character and who they are. But I always say, like, it makes sense now, and I understand, you know, a lot more about her and why she does the stuff that she does and why she's so cool and badass and gnarly. But then you also learn to really appreciate her. And like you said, she's not just, you know, another hot Instagram chick with guns and, you know, rides bikes and stuff, but she's, like, earned that title. You know what I mean? If go listen to the podcast, it's fantastic. You learn so much about her. Give her a follow on Instagram. She's one cool chick.
I agree. And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want to extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
You've seen their movies.
Man, I'm gonna be late for work again. That's the fifth time I've been late this week. It's only Tuesday, man.
You've probably heard a song or two.
Here's an extra one. Don't give it to your children.
Now, don't miss your chance to see this Grammy Award-winning comic duo, Cheech and Chong, at the Blue Water Resort and Casino.
Who is it?
Dave, man, open up.
Dave? Dave's not here.
Tickets on sale now for Cheech and Chong performing live Saturday, January 27th on the Blue Water Amphitheater stage. Doors open at 3 p.m. Show starts at 4 p.m. Arizona time. Advanced general admission tickets $45. VIP tickets just $65. General admission seating can bring your own chairs. Must be 21 or older to attend the show. Visit BlueWaterFun.com or purchase now at the Blue Water Casino gift shop for Cheech and Chong live.
Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Want the latest from Jim Beaver and Amy Hood? Follow at Jim Beaver 15 and at Amy Hood 71 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, joined on the line by my friend Joe Duncan. This is Terracross Starts with Optimus, brought to you by our good friends at Optimus Starters, starting every Polaris RZR in the Terracross Championship and just about every vehicle in my race shop. But welcome to the line, Joe. I know during the break you've heard it all now, right? We're running Cheech and Chong commercials on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, right? That's gotta
I know. I was laughing.
I thought I was on the wrong line. I'm like, is that a 900 number I just dialed, or what was that?
Where I'm winning.
Podcast today.
Where I'm winning though is that the casino is an advertiser here, and I've got free tickets to the Cheech and Chong show. So I'm just saying I'm the winner of this whole deal.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No. What's
That's awesome.
Yeah. No. What's happening, Joe? We haven't had you on air for a couple of weeks. I know the big thing is I mean we got lots of Terracross news, but I want to talk snow bikes because you've got this the qualifier coming up there in Elk River that you're putting on, and we haven't talked snow bikes yet this year, but snow is falling. It's time to talk snow bikes, man. What's happening there in Elk River in a couple of weeks?
Well, luckily ERX has some great snowmaking equipment because it was 60 degrees here yesterday, and they got a bunch of snow made, and hopefully those temps are going to start to drop in the next week or so they can make a bunch more. But we have the dual qualifier here at ERX presented by Timber Sled, and fueled by Monster Energy, and it's the spot where everybody's coming that wants to go to X Games in Aspen on a snow bike for snow bike cross. We've got 2 full qualifying races, one from 10 a.m. to noon and one from 1 o'clock to 4. And we are looking for those top snow bike racers from around the world that want to come and try and get in. And this is where we'll look at them to get their invite.
Yeah, well, and I know last year I was up there, and I mean, you had Ronnie Feist, you had Colton Haker. I can't remember if Brock Hoyer was there or not, but I mean, Axel Hodges was there. I'm going down the list of people that were at that. I mean, this was like the who's who of dirt bikes and snow bikes. I mean, it was a massive show there, Joe.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome, and it was the largest snow bike race ever put on. Over 64 entries. I think 58 ended up actually racing the event, and it was super exciting. One of the best courses the snow bike guys had ever raced on, and it was a great starting point to an amazing race out at X Games in Aspen. So we're hoping for the same thing, if not better, for this year. A lot more interest. There are some very big names that have contacted us about getting snow bikes and getting out and getting some training in. And if they're feeling up for it, we may say some very large motocross names and action sports stars coming out to Aspen here in January.
Well, and that being said, Amy and I have talked about snow bike quite a bit. Like, I think this is it's not only, I think, the next big thing. I mean, we're there. I think we're just touching the tip of how big this whole snow bike thing is. And you've been around power sports for a long time, but I see it too, where you've got the young guys coming in like the Axel Hodges of the world that are dominating, but you've got guys like, say, a Ronnie Feist, who it's giving his career a second wind. I mean, this thing, I don't know how big it's going to get, and I know Amy can attest to this, but everybody I talk to, they're talking about this.
Well, everybody wants to get on a snow bike, for sure. Like, and you get all these people from Southern California who's never even, sat on a sled before in their life. I know they snowboard and whatnot, but it's so appealing for, motocrossers all over, and athletes all over, like extreme athletes all over the place.
Well, for the guys that don't go down south to train for the next season, which there's quite a few of them that do that, but then you take the other 10,000-20,000 people up north that have their dirt bikes and they want to do something. You put on a timber sled kit or one of the other brands, and in that 4,000 to 7,000 range, you have a vehicle you can go play with in the snow, and it just opens up a whole new world. And these snow bikes out in the mountains are unbelievable. They still have a little bit to be desired on the trails. I know a couple of brands are working on that right now, but out in the mountains, in any kind of deep powder, you get a big snowfall, they're just an absolute riot. They're not as big and as powerful as the snowmobile, but you'd go back and you say, well, yeah, but they're also not as heavy and they're a lot more nimble. So there are definitely some advantages to it. And it's just it's a cool thing to see growth of another motorsport and all the interest that's in it, and to have these guys all coming out to attempt to be invited to X Games, and also what's happening for the future with some potential point series and some international events that are being discussed and worked on right now for the future. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, well, and we haven't even talked yet, but I know you're highly involved with X Games. We haven't even talked about best trick on snow bikes. I mean, this is a first, right? I don't know of any, we've seen some guys throw some tricks on Instagram and stuff, but I don't know that there's ever actually been a snow bike freestyle contest of any sort, right?
As far as I know, there's never been any official freestyle contest on snow bikes, and we're going to kick this thing off. Jackson Strong did a demo at X Games last year to kind of make the announcement and kind of show what's coming. And, I'll be honest with you, I didn't think there was going to be the response that we had of people that want to come out and do Snowbike Best Trick. But wow, has it been very interesting, the names, the where these athletes are coming from. I have a couple of people from overseas that have contacted us, and very cool group of athletes trying to get into Snowbike Best Trick, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, well, and we haven't even talked yet either. I mean, this whole thing is expanding. Like, I know just the women interest, you know what I mean, in getting involved in snowbike racing. Last year at the qualifier, we had a couple of girls trying to qualify in. I know Jolene's expressed interest. I know Amy's expressed interest. I mean, this is one of those things where I think, like I said, we're at the tip of a new industry, and I think that's an exciting thing.
Well, yeah, but I'd like to do it. I mean, I don't do any freestyle, but I'll jump on a snowbike anytime soon.
Yeah, well, I think it opens that door for the young and the old. It's a new sport, so nobody really has that advantage out there. Us and women's sports, we love promoting them. We love to see that competition, and this isn't a men's sport. I mean, it is open. The qualifier, the dual qualifier is open to women competing. It's open to youth. It's open to the masters. It doesn't matter. It's open, and anybody wants to come and participate and try for those coveted spots. And then there will be some cool classes coming in the future. There already is a smaller women's class out there, but I see that growing. There is a master's class out there, and then some youth classes coming down the road that I think will really expand the sport of snowbikes, and we can see that growth continue to, it's worldwide. Unfortunately, with snowmobiles, we're very limited in the areas that they can be. And with the bikes, I mean, we have people from Texas and Florida that are getting kits. And obviously last year, all the guys from, California that came up, although they froze, but they sure had a great time and loved it as another opportunity and another sport.
Yeah, well, I agree.
And I like how you said that. I like how you said it doesn't offer any kind of competitive advantage, because Jim and I were kind of talking last year going into the snowbike race at X Games that we thought the snow crossers, like the guys who had a snowmobile background, were going to be the dominant leaders. But, then we had the SoCal guys and Axel Hodges who just, are free riders to, really make their mark and be just as equally competitive. So I completely agree where, it's anybody from any kind of background would be able to jump on this and be successful.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
Joe,
I think that's the cool and unique thing.
Yeah. Well, we got to take a short break, Joe. I appreciate the time, man. We got Cottew, your Terracross champ from this year. He's calling in next, but thanks a lot, Joe.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys.
All righty. Thank you. And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RZRLife to share your story. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
the Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Get ready to get in the holiday spirit. American Idol Season 5 winner Taylor Hicks. Live in concert Saturday, December 9th. Inside the showroom at the Blue Water Resort and Casino. Doors open at 5 p.m. Show starts at 6 p.m. Arizona time. General admission tickets $30. VIP tickets just $40. Tickets on sale now. Visit BlueWaterFun.com or purchase inside the casino gift shop. Don't miss the Taylor Hicks Christmas Show.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
And we're back here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hoodie are joined on the line by Cole Cottew, podium finisher this weekend in snowcross. How's everything going, Cole?
Hey, man.
Pretty good. How are you?
Hey, we're getting a little bit of feedback. Do you have the show on or something in the background?
Me?
Yeah, so, I don't know. We're just getting a little bit of feedback coming back.
No, I don't know. I don't have it on.
Oh, perfect there. We're perfect there. Awesome.
Yep, I'm a lot better.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't know what was going on. But anyways, dude, congrats on the podium, man.
Thank you. It was a good end of the weekend for sure.
Yeah.
Saturday didn't go as well as we wanted. We battled some problems and some bad luck, and to end with the podium, we were stoked.
Yeah, how has it been for you? I mean, this is year number 2 in Pro Light. Obviously, I think you took a podium last year. We had you on air around there. But how has that move been for you? I mean, obviously, we'll talk about Terracross in a minute. You've got a championship there. You've won rally car races. You qualified for Loretta's. Obviously, there's talent. But how has it been for you moving to Pro Light? I mean, how has the learning curve been for that jump? Because you're basically the equivalent of 250s in Supercross at the moment.
Yeah, it's Pro Light's definitely a fast class. There's so many people that could go out there and win. I think this weekend actually between both finals there was actually not one kid that finished on the podium twice. It was 6 different podium finishers, so that just proves like how strong the class is this year, and even last year was super strong. And I'm excited to be in it and to be getting up on the box and doing well. So it's exciting.
Yeah. Well, and I know, with your guys' program, obviously, Cottew Motorsports, your dad's highly involved. He used to race, things like that. I mean, what have you guys learned? Because it was a lot of programs come in and they go, oh, we're just going to run Pro Open, and from, you guys have, one thing I've liked about you guys have had kind of stepping stones, right? And you've moved up and grown as a team. I mean, how has that been, because I feel like, you guys have a really good base there where a lot of teams come in and it's just all the way to the top. You guys have slowly grown the team, you know what I mean, to where you're at.
Yeah, we definitely feel this year is our strongest program that we've had. We've added Robbie Malinowski to the team this year and as my mechanic, and he's just, he grew up racing. He raced Pro Open and had a lot of success there, so he knows the sport. And he really, this year, I felt last year we had a really good program too. I'm not saying that, but he really took our program and advanced it a lot this year, and I'm really excited about that. And yeah, he helps me train in the gym even. He's a very knowledgeable guy, so, huge thanks to him.
Yeah, well, and, I think that's
a really good guy to have in your corner. He's super talented and really well respected in the industry as well. So, good coach and person to have on your side.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, he has so many relationships himself that really helped us. So it's cool having him.
Yeah. Well, and how are you? Because I know you're coming off injury, right? I mean, I know there was an injury earlier on this year. I mean, how was that? Because it didn't set your training back for snowcross a bit, from what I understand.
Yeah, it actually, because not this summer, but the summer before, I moved down to Club MX in South Carolina, and that was the first year I really took motocross seriously, and I worked super hard, and I was more ready than I ever had been, and I came into the season, and I thought I was going to dominate, and basically had a wake-up call because it didn't happen last year. I had 2 podiums, and that was it, and I was super bummed, and I went into the summer this year, thinking I'm going to work even harder than I did last year, and moved out right away. I had 3 weeks just to get back switched over to motocross, and I went back down to South Carolina in April, and I was there for a week and a half, and I broke my leg, so that was a huge bummer. And then I let it heal for 7 weeks, and then rode for 2.5 more weeks, and then broke it again. Wasn't completely.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, that's devastating just hearing that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was a bummer because then it set me. I took 11 weeks off then to make sure it was super healed that time, and so I wouldn't have no problem. And that was actually, it was Heydays was basically right. I left from Heydays and went back down to South Carolina, and I got just exactly 2 months in of training for the season, and I was worried about it, because I was like, wow, I trained last year, 5 solid months, and it was like, now I'm only getting 2, and last year I didn't do well, but this year I took it more, not that I didn't take it seriously, but I learned a lot more about, even nutrition and training like that, and I feel like I'm even more ready this. I didn't have as much time, but I'm really confident in myself this year, and so far it's working. I guess I've only had one weekend, so we'll see how the rest of the year goes.
Yeah.
Well, with all of your injuries and kind of what's happened on the moto side, like, is your focus shifting? You said you wanted to kind of take the motocross racing a little bit more seriously and then dabble into that, but knowing just the risks involved alone and the time off that it takes, like, are your goals and your focus going to be shifting now to the snowcross world, and are you going to put more emphasis on your snowcross career rather than a moto now?
Yeah, I mean, the main reason that I do go down to Club MX is just, it's purely for snowcross. That's always the end goal, like to cross train. But when I'm there, I'm 100% focused on moto, even though I don't really need to, because realistically, like, I'm pretty far behind to make a career out of it. I started so late, and so I'm not really worried about making a career out of moto. I'm just doing it to cross train, but I'm taking it as if I was trying to make a career out of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But that's crazy because a lot of people don't know that, the cross training involved in snowcross, moto is so dangerous and there's so much risk involved. And a lot of people in the moto industry cross train for, motocross racing on road bikes or just in the gym. And, you snowcrossers are kind of left cross training on this equally as dangerous. You don't even have like a summer off because you are, competing and training in such a high risk alternative, and it's kind of what next? Like, are you gonna kind of switch up your program? Are you gonna maybe look into something else? I mean, I know the Malinowskis, dabble a little bit in the wakeboarding world as well too. I mean, it's time to maybe switch things up a bit and stay safe in the off season, or what?
Honestly, I can't see myself doing anything now that I've built such a good relationship down with the people at Club MX. Like, it's just a huge family down, and I love it so much. And so I'm gonna stick with the moto for as long as I can.
Well,
Good. I like that. Good answer.
Yeah. Well, and I laugh because you're so humble about. I train at Moto like it's like I'm dedicated to snowcross. But you've also gone to Loretta's. I mean, come on, man. You act like you're not talented on a dirt bike or something. I'm like, that's a statement right there.
So I didn't expect that, to be honest with you, because I went to the area qualifier and last year and ended up, I didn't even technically make the regional, but everyone at club was like, oh, just send your money in and they'll take you and they'll put you as an alternate and you'll be able to race anyways. I'm like, all right. So I did that and then went to the regional and actually won a moto and was able to qualify. And I was just like, what the heck? Like, how did that happen? Like, isn't the regional supposed to be harder? But yeah, then we went to Loretta's and I couldn't believe, I thought I was going to be kind of out to lunch when I got there, but it went way better than I thought. And I wanted to do it again this last year, but I was injured throughout all the qualifiers, so I was super bummed about that, but maybe I'll try again this coming summer.
Yeah. So
I think it's super possible to have a career on the snow and the dirt. I mean, Tucker Hibbert's done such a great job. He still shows up at our local races and, slays everybody on a dirt bike in pro class or the Dash for Cash. Like, you don't necessarily have to take it to a AMA level, but you can still, obviously, by making it to Loretta's with ease, you can still have best of both worlds. And it seems like, the more talented you are at one discipline, you can easily, transfer it over to the other. And that's the cool thing about snow and moto, I think, for sure. It kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, and that's like what I'm saying. Like with moto, I'm just seeing how far I can go, but I'm not really worried about how far I go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to keep that less pressure, try to have fun with it, but serious at the same time.
Yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of people ought to take that approach to things. But, man, I appreciate the time, Cole. We're running short on time, but congrats on the podium, man. We're definitely looking forward to, keeping track of you and the whole family and Cottew Motorsports. And, we'll definitely have to chat soon.
Cool. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks a lot, Cole.
See you guys.
All right, see ya.
And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host the Down and Dirty Radio Show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'd like to welcome my next guest to the line, my General Tire teammate, Jerry Zaiden of Camberg. How's everything going, Jerry?
Doing great, thank you.
Man, good to have you back. It's been a while. I was trying to think. I know we've had you at least once this year, but, man, you guys, this has been a pretty solid year for Camberg. You guys, obviously, no stranger to trophy trucks, moving back to trophy trucks, or I guess I should say trick trucks this year. Man, new relationship with Toyota. We've got to talk about the Mint 400 and Jay Leno, but, man, you guys have been killing it this year.
Yeah, we've been pretty busy, that's for sure. Just got off of building a bunch of Toyota Tundras for a military project. Did a Toyota Tacoma, which is the TRD Pro Tacoma, and did that with Jay Leno. So we built that truck here at Camberg and raced the stock mini class. Really just like a good TV kind of PR thing, show what those new little Tacoma could do in its stock trim. So, the engine, the transmission, the rear end, brakes, all that stuff is bone stock. None of it was modified. I worked with a few of our partners. We had a Magnaflow bolt-on exhaust and put the General tires and the KMC wheels and the Deaver springs and the Fox shocks on it, and ran our new Kinetic Series billet aluminum upper A-arm. Just basically the same kit you would buy and bolt on your truck and go wheeling off-road, just not even long travel, just more of like our Trail Series suspension. Added some bypass shocks and a Pyrotech gas tank and the Sparco seats and belts, and we're out there racing. And Jay Leno did the first lap. He's never raced off-road or really driven off-road all that much in his life, so he's a little on the slower side, but got the truck around the course, got stuck once only because someone rolled in front of the race course. He tried to go around him and got unstuck pretty quickly, but then helped that guy roll back over, and he was a UTV guy, got him back in the race, completed his lap, and then I got in the truck, finished off the race, and finished without any issues, finished pretty quickly, and that was it. It was fun.
Yeah, well, and that's saying something about our sport. I mean, you and I have been around this sport for a long time, but to have a guy like Jay Leno come in and participate, that's a big deal. I mean, we get a lot of kind of name celebrities come in and out of the sport, people that people know, but I mean, Jay Leno, to me, that's like another level, man. I mean, you've got celebrities and you've got Jay Leno. That's saying something, one, for your program to have him come in, but two, just that he would take the time to come out and race something like the Mint 400.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. We're planning on doing a different race, and the stars and moons didn't align well, and I, talked to Martelli's and said, hey, this is what I have if you guys want it. And we got this little celebrity we all know as Jay Leno wants to come do this race and put his name next to some of these, famous people who have raced the Mint 400 over, what's it been, like 40 years or something. They were all open arms and welcomed them. And man, what a good guy Leno was too, because, typically you get these guys, they show up and they're like prima donnas and they don't really go to contingency and they fly under the radar and no one gets to meet them. he actually spent a few hours in our booth on Fremont Street, taking pictures of people, like legitimate conversations. It wasn't like the typical, hey, my uncle from Wisconsin, whatever. And then he'd go, oh yeah, cool. How neat. No, he actually interacted with people and listened and talked and pictures and the whole deal. Like I said, for about 2 to 2.5 hours. And I mean, that's a lot from a guy like himself who's just bombarded by people constantly,
Yeah, well, that's the truth. For him to sit down and take the time to meet with fans, I know it's always cool when you get a guy that's down to earth like that. I know Travis Pastrana, when he came and raced with us at Vegas to Reno, was the same way. He spent some time in the General Tire booth. I mean, he sat there with fans, and I mean, it's one of those things where the guy, just like Leno, he's got a line a mile long of people wanting to see him, and he takes the time to talk with them. It was genuine conversations, it wasn't like he was brushing them off and yeah and no, and it's kind of cool when you get people, what I mean, to come out to our sport and experience it, and then they do spend the time with the fans that are out here and know the ins and outs of it. It's something pretty special. But tell us about the move back to Trophy Truck this year, man. I mean, the Camberg program, obviously you've got to deal with Toyota now. I mean, multiple levels to this deal, but kind of explain that and the move back to Trophy Truck, or Trick Truck, I should say.
Yeah, so we've been working with Toyota since 2005. The new Tacoma came out, and we worked with a gentleman there named Mark Amstock. He's now, I think he's retired. But anyways, the new Tacoma came out. We helped launch that truck back in 2005. Then the new Tundra came out, and we worked with Toyota on that. We had that thing at SEMA, and we raced the 40th Baja 1000 race in that truck, and just had a lot of fun with it. Brought Razor Rob McCullough, MMA fighter. He was with us. A couple other industry people, and just made it a really good time, just showing what these stock trucks could do. And then over the years, building concept vehicles and just different show vehicles with Toyotas and whatnot. We're heavily known for the Toyota product, right? That's like what Jason and I both drove when we started Camberg in 1997, so like 20 years ago now. And just everything was good. And then they've been out of desert racing for a long time, and it's more of a marketing strategy, creating buzz around vehicles. We've been doing some work with them with this, Hotel Tacoma that they do. They've done 2 years of that, so we've been building vehicles for that. Just got done doing a really cool concept vehicle for the U.S. snowboard Olympic team with Burton. We actually did a RAV4, lifted it a couple inches, leveled it out, got some nice rims and tires on it, and made the thing look really cool. So we're always doing some good stuff with Toyota, which is great. They're a very forward-thinking brand, right? Like they get it. Influencers sell vehicles. They totally grasp that. They get it. And we're back in Trick Truck, and we started our kinetic trucks. We raced the 09 Baja 1000 was our first race in a trophy truck, and then in 2010. We're full time in the Trick Truck class, which is the unlimited class in Best in the Desert, and did that for a few years. Trying to do it with more of an LS based engine, and they just don't hold up to that kind of abuse. I mean, it really does show what we put these vehicles through. I mean, you take an LS based engine that's in 90% of every play buggy or all these like pre-runner trucks out there, and I mean they hold up well in that stuff, but you put it in a trick truck, trophy truck, unlimited truck, whatever you want to call it. And we can't keep timing chains together. We can't keep cranks living. I mean, it just shows the abuse, right? If you're going to run up front, right? So we did get on the podium a few times as a trick truck. We ran, third place, fourth place. I think we got a second place at one point. Did well. And then it just got real expensive blowing up engines and not having that performance. So we went to, Best in the Desert and opened up, Jim Riley had the first 6100 truck that he built with the Trophy Light program with Greg Fouts. And, I went to Casey. I'm like, look, in 07, you opened up 7200. Really, we need a spec V8 class because, here in America, there's nothing better than a loud V8 rumbling by. And he gave me the okay. He's like, let's come up with some good rules. So Greg Fouts and Jim Riley and myself sat down and thought, like, hey, this would be a good platform, very popular class. And I mean, to date, I think it is the most popular, fastest growing class next to, like, say, the Polaris Razor class. I think we've had like 45 people in 6100 before. All the numbers are handed out. That just shows how many new trucks are being built. And that's just, a spec LS based engine. We had a lot of fun there. Won just about every race and been on the podium a bunch of times. And, we got a bunch of customers there, so we want to help them out. And then we got the funding to get into the unlimited truck class, but do it right. And we ordered a couple of these Dugan racing engines. They're built with all the toughest parts. And honestly, when you look at that engine next to any other engine, you get it right away. It weighs a lot more. It's bigger. It's built with all the robust parts. And we had a little learning curve in the first two races of this year. Parker and the Mint, we lost the oil pump belts. And just more our fault. We just had to shield that from the rocks a little bit better. And we got through that. And I think we're sitting sixth in points going into the last race out of over 75 trucks in our class. Missed third place by 1 minute in the last race. We started 15th and finished physically fourth. It's tight racing, man. These guys, they talk about it being unlimited. Really, it's just the unlimited spec class because we're all running the same parts and pieces, just a little bit different recipe on how we mix it all together. A huge talent pool of drivers out there, and you got to race the desert on top of your racer, your competitor. So, yeah, going into this last race, the Pahrump Nugget 250, best in the desert. This Saturday, we're heading out Wednesday, qualifying Thursday, racing Saturday morning. And hopefully we could put it on the box and get a podium our first year back in the trick truck class. We're there for a few more years. We got the funding for a few years, and thanks to all of our sponsors, got a lot of exciting stuff coming and some news that'll be launching out next year, new sponsors, and just all good news. It's just been great.
Yeah, well, and, talk about real quick, about Alex Figge, bringing him in because this is kind of I don't want to say an interesting experiment because you don't experiment at all. I mean, you generally have a plan in place, but, here's a guy who raced Champ Car and Indy cars and professional road racing, who had no desert background. You guys brought him in, and now I see the times that Alex has clicked off and things like that. I mean, he's becoming a threat in desert racing. I mean, how was that bringing him in, and what did you see, to bring a guy like that into our sport?
Well, so what happens is when you have these guys that are raised racing, go-karts to road racing, and he's done IndyCar, he raced the Pirelli series, he's done Ferrari, McLaren, Volvo, he's done really well, won a lot of races, got the pole a bunch of times. What they don't understand is how to read the desert, and that's what takes time. So, his very first race with us was the Parker 425, in his first race at the Parker 425 with us, he did the second lap, and he had the fastest second lap over everyone in the class. And that's, I would say, probably one of the toughest years in 6100 and Best in the Desert. Biggest year, great competition. It was a solid year. And, did real well there, got into the Mint, did real well there, got into, I think it was Silver State. And that's when desert racing got to beat him, and he got motion sickness. He was like, man, there was so much dust, I didn't know if I was going up or down or left or right. Not used to it. So he got motion sickness there, got into Vegas to Reno, and wound up hitting a rock in a sand wash, which it was there, and just the nose of the truck kind of caught it hard under braking, and it literally rolled under the truck. So it lifted this rock that looked like a bowling ball sticking out of the sand, but lifted it. The whole rock came out of the ground, and the whole truck was like a turtle stuck on a rock. The rock wound up being like 3 feet tall. And that's the impact the truck hit this rock. And just, it kind of rolled and catapulted him up, and he was stuck there. And he was looking at it going, how do you beat the desert? He knows he's a good driver. We know he's a good driver. But then now, how do you beat the desert? And I told him, I go, look, there's good luck and bad luck in this type of racing we all know as desert racing. Your competition's part of it, but the environment's the whole other part of it. And that's where it becomes tough. And so he's done pretty well with it. Now we got into the trick truck this year. He's got a lot of work stuff going on this year that it kept him pretty busy. But next year he's going to be taking the reins of a new 6100 truck we're building. So we have the trick truck, Jason and I and Jerry Walsh will be racing. And then we have the 6100 truck that Figgy's going to be racing.
Oh, so that's news right there. Jerry Welchel, he's coming back to Camberg.
Yeah, he's been working here since January, or actually December of last year. He's been prepping the trucks and got a couple guys working with him. So, 3 full-time guys prepping trucks, and we're building parts and new trucks for people and whatnot. And he's definitely known as one of the best off-road desert race drivers of all time. And, put him in the truck and see what happens at a few races. Jason and I are going to do some races and, get that thing on the podium a bunch of times next year.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate the time calling into the show, Jerry, man. Best of luck at Pahrump, and we'll definitely talk soon.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And we'll be back with more Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris Razor after this.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you, but you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on 4 wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, wrapping things up. Big thank you to all of you guys who have stayed tuned all episode long, regardless of where you're tuning in at. I know we had a little bit of problems with our Facebook live stream. First week we've tried that, but we'll reboot and try it again next week for those of you who tried tuning in over there and jumped over here. But thank you guys. Big shout out to my good friend Amy Hood, who held it down with me today. Thanks to Josh Weesey there at the Sponsored Rider Club podcast, Jim Riley, Joe Duncan, Cole Cottew, Jerry Zaiden, all our amazing guests, and our amazing partners, Polaris Razor, General Tire, Subaru, KC Highlights, Gibson Exhaust, Dirtfish, Impact, OTSFF, Optimus Starters, Terracross, Blue Water Resort and Casino, and our friends at GenuinePolarisParts.com. Make sure and use that URL, GenuinePolarisParts.com/Jim Beaver to get that discount. And, you want another discount at Dirtfish Rally School. A lot of you got in on their Black Friday deal, but if you didn't, you can use the coupon code JBDirtfish for 15% off all your orders. I am at Jim Beaver 15 on social media. Amy is at AmyHood71. Don't forget to go over to iTunes, rate, review, subscribe to this radio show on iTunes. And if you leave a rating or review and subscribe, if you leave that Twitter, Instagram at username, I will follow you back on social media when I see that in the review. And check out my other show, Project Action, that drops on Thursdays. Last week we had Jacqueline Carrizosa. This next week, Amy and I, we're taking some fan questions, so shoot those over on social media. We'll get them answered. Thanks to all of you guys for tuning in. Be safe. As always, game on.